Hi students, today we will discuss on real numbers. We are going to revise the most important concepts in a real numbers. Have a glance. Okay, the important concepts in real numbers are number system, prime numbers, composite numbers, twin primes, co-primes, Pythagorean triplets, perfect squares, Euclid division algorithm, fundamental theorem of arithmetic, rule for a number ending with a digit 0, LCM and HCF of a given numbers, terminating and non-terminating decimal expansion, non-terminating and non-recurring decimal expansion, loss of exponents, proof of irrational numbers, exponential form into logarithmic form, a logarithmic form into exponential form, loss of logarithms. These are very important concepts in the real numbers. Almost these concepts covers 4 marks, 1 mark, 2 mark and also objective. And also these are the concepts are very useful in learning the remaining subjects in class 10 mathematics. Okay, first number system. We know that types of numbers in real numbers, natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers and real numbers. And we know that coming to the first one, number system. Number system. We know that natural numbers are subset of whole numbers are subset of integers are subset of rational numbers, and rational numbers are subset of what here? Real numbers. While we know that all natural numbers are in a whole numbers, therefore natural numbers are subset of whole numbers, and all whole numbers are in a integers, therefore whole numbers are subset of integers, and we know that all integers are what rational numbers, and integers are subset of a rational numbers, and all rational numbers are what real numbers. And we know that real irrational numbers are denoted by q dash or s. Now q dash is subset of what real numbers. Therefore we can say real numbers is a union of rational numbers and irrational numbers. Real numbers is a union of rational numbers and irrational numbers. This is the very important for our objective part. Next, coming to the next one, prime numbers. Prime numbers means a number is a prime number if it has got only two factors, that is 1 and itself. Suppose you take a 7. 7 can contain as what 7 into 1. That means it has got only two factors, that is 1 and itself. It has got how many factors? Two factors. Therefore, 7 is a what prime number. 7 is a prime number. So suppose you take a 6. 6 can be written as 6 into 1, and next one is a 2 into 3. Therefore, it has got what four factors. Four factors. Therefore, it is not a prime number. Not a prime number. Okay, now prime number means what? A number which has got only two factors, that is 1 and itself. And it is important to learn prime numbers less than 100. There are 25 prime numbers less than 100 and 15 primes below 50 and 10 prime numbers between 50 and 100. Next, composite number. Composite number means a number which has a more than two factors. More than two factors. Suppose just now we have got a 6 here. 6 can be written as 6 into 1 and 2 into 3. It has got how many factors? 4 factors. 4 factors. That means if a number has more than two factors, it is a composite number. And whereas 7, if you take the previous example 7 can be written as 7 into 1. It has got only two factors, not more than two factors. Therefore, it is a prime but not a composite number. And if you take one more example like what 12 can be written as 12 into 1. And this can be written as 3 into 4 and 2 into 6. It has got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 factors. That means it has more than two factors. Therefore, 12 is also what? Composite number. Composite number. Okay. And coming to 1. 1 can be written as what? 1 into 1. Now, 1 can be written as 1 into 1. It has got only one factor. That means it has no two factors or not more than two factor. Therefore, 1 is neither prime nor a composite number. That means 1 is not a prime number, 1 is not a composite number. This is a very important thing you need to remember. And the next one is twin primes. Twin primes means the difference of two primes is 2. The difference of two primes is 2. Then they are called as a twin primes. For example, you take a 7 and 5. And the difference 7 minus 5 is equal to how much? 2. Therefore, 7 and 5 are called as what is the twin primes. 7 and 5 are called as what? Twin primes. Like that you can take few more examples. 13 and 11. 13 minus 11 is equals to 2. The difference of these two primes is how much here? 2. Therefore, 13 and 11 are called as a twin primes. Next one. Pythagorean triplets. Now, suppose let us have an example 3, 4, 5. Now, whether these three numbers forms a Pythagorean triplet or not, we'll check it. Now, Pythagorean triplet means the square of a bigger number must be equal to sum of the squares of other two numbers. Here the bigger number is how much here? 5. The square of a 5 square equal to 25, and it should be equal to the square, sum of the squares of other two numbers. Sum of the squares of other two numbers. 3 square plus 4 square. 3 square equal to how much here? 9. 4 square equal to 16. 9 plus 16 equal to 25. Therefore, we can say 5 square is equals to 3 square plus 4 square. Therefore, we can say 3, 4, 5 forms a Pythagorean triplet. Next, perfect squares. Sorry, co-primes. Here, co-primes is an important concept. If two numbers have no common factor, that means you can say there is no common factor other than 1. There is no common factor other than 1. Then the two numbers are called as a co-primes. For example, if you take a 14 and 15. 14 can be written as 14 into 1 and 7 into 2, and 15 can be written as 15 into 1 and 3 into 5. Do they have any common factor? Suppose 14 can be written as 14 into 1 and 2 into 7, and the other hand 15 can be written as 15 into 1 and 3 into 5. Do they have any common factor other than 1? There is no common factor other than 1. That means simple. If two numbers have no common factor other than 1, then the two numbers are called as a co-primes. And remember, the HCF of co-primes is always 1. Is always 1. The highest common factor of co-primes is always 1, and LCM of co-primes is equal to product of two numbers. Is product of two numbers. That means if two given numbers are co-primes, then their HCF is how much here? 1, and their LCM is what is the product of two numbers. Next, Euclid division algorithm. Given two positive integers a comma b, and where a greater than b, then there exist two integers q and r such that 0 less than or equal to b. Sorry, 0 less than or equal to or less than b. To understand this one, listen, I said a comma b are two positive integers and the condition is a greater than b. That means you are dividing a with what? B, where a is a dividend, b is a divisor. When you divide, you get something here that is what is the quotient, and here you get what is the remainder r, and the remainder may be equal to 0 or greater than 0. The remainder will be what is the equal to 0 or greater than 0, and also if it is a greater than 0, that value will be always less than b. Always less than b. And let us have one example here. Suppose you are dividing a 6 with what 2 3s are 6. The remainder is equal to how much here? 0. The remainder is equal to 0. We will take another example here. Same, we are dividing 7 with 2, and 2 3s are 6 and the remainder is equal to how much here? 1. The remainder equal to 1. I said here the remainder may be equal to 0 or greater than 0. Look here, remainder equal to 1. 1 means what? It is a greater than 0. And whatever the remainder you get greater than 0, that will be always less than B. It is always less than B. This is A, this is B, this is Q, this is R. Okay, therefore we can write it as what is now? The condition A equal to BQ plus R. A equal to BQ plus R. That means this is the division, Euclid division algorithm. A equal to, A means what? Dividend equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. And the condition is 0 less than or equal to R less than B. That means the remainder will be 0 or greater than 0, but the remainder will be always less than the divisor. Next, fundamental theorem of arithmetics. Fundamental theorem of arithmetics. Every composite number can be expressed as product of primes. Suppose every composite number 12 is a composite number. It can be expressed as what is the product of primes. Go for the prime factorization. Here 2, 6, 2, 3. Therefore 12 can be written as 2 into 2 into 3, and 2 is multiplied 2 times. We write an exponential form 2 square into 3. Therefore 12 equal to 2 square into 3. This is called as the fundamental theorem of arithmetics. That means fundamental theorem of arithmetics is nothing but every composite number can be expressed as product of primes. 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number. Okay, next. This is the next one, is the important topic. Rule for a number ending with the digit 0. Rule for a number ending with the digit 0. If any number ends with the digit 0, and let us take the few examples which end with the digit 0, like what is now 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and so on. And write the prime factors of 10. 10 can be written as what? 2 into 5, and 20 can be written as 2 square into 5. 2 square. 2 square means what? 2 2s are 4. 4 into 5, 20. 30 can be written as 3 into 2 into 5. 2 5s are 10. 10 3s are 30. And 40 can be written as what? 4 into 4 means what? 2 square. 2 cube into 5. 2 cube into 5. 2 cube means what? 2 2s are 4. 4 2s are 8. 2 2s are 4. 4 2s are 8. 8 5s are 40. And another example, 50 can be written as 5 into 2 into 5 square into 2. 5 square into 2. 5 square equal to 25. 25 into 2, how much here? 50. Now what we observe in all the numbers ending with the digit 0, their prime factors are what 2 and 5. We see a common prime factor, that is what here you see 2 and 5, here you see 2 and 5. Here also we have got 2 and 5, here it is a 2 and 5, here also it is a 2 and 5. And let us take some other example like what 70. 70 can be written as what 7 into 2 into 5. 2 5s are 10. 10 into 7, 70. Therefore it has also got what 2 and 5. That means very simple. If any number ending with a digit 0, it should have 2 and 5 as a prime factor. Suppose if it has got only 2 as a prime factor, there is no 5. Now we can say that the number cannot end with a digit 0. Suppose if a number has 5 as a prime factor but there is no 2, this number also cannot end with the digit 0. Okay, this is a very important for 1 mark question. Next, LCM and HCF of a given numbers. Okay, suppose we take the example, we find the LCM and HCF of 12 and 18. 12 and 18. We have to find the prime factors of 12. 12, 2 6 again 2 3s. For 12 can be written as 2 into 2 can be written as 2 square into 3. And 18. Now this is 2 9s and this is 3 3s. Now 18 can be written as 2 into 3 into 3, 3 square. Now LCM of 12 and 18. LCM of 12 and 18 is a product of greatest power of every prime factor. LCM of 12 and 18 is the product of greatest power of every prime factor. Suppose if you see here, we have got 2 as a common prime factor, but which is the greatest power? It is the 2 square, it is the 2 power 1. We have to take only greatest power, that is what 2 square into, again 3 is also a common factor, but see the powers here, it is the 3 power 1, it is the 3 square. We have to take only the greatest power, 3 square, and which is equal to 2 square, how much here? 4, and 3 square equal to 9, and 4 9s are 36. The LCM of 12 and 18 is how much here? 36. Now HCF of 12 and 18. Here we have taken the greatest power of every prime factor, but if for HCF we have to take, it is the product of least power of the common prime factor. Product of least power of a common prime factor. Now look here, 2 is the common prime factor and we have to take only least power, that is 2 power 1, and it is again 3 is the common prime factor. Here it is a 3 square and here it is a 3. We have to take only the least common prime factor, that is what 3 to the power of 1. Now which is equal to 2 into 3, which is equal to how much here? 6. Okay, next. Okay, next important topic, terminating and non-terminating recurring decimal expansion. Non-terminating and non-recurring decimal expansion. Terminating and non-terminating recurring decimal expansion. Okay, now we can check the given rational number as a terminating decimal expansion or non-terminating decimal expansion. And note, you have to remember here, a rational number has 2 types of decimal expansions. The first one is the terminating decimal expansion, or it can have whatever non-terminating recurring decimal expansion. That means it have both types of decimal expansion. I am going to take the example. Suppose 2 by 5. When you divide 2 by 5, you get how much here? 0.4. 2 you divide with 5, 0. Because you take 0. 5 4s are 20. And the remainder equal to what 0. When the remainder is 0, we say it is a what terminating decimal expansion. This 2 by 5 has this 0.4 is the terminating decimal expansion of 2 by 5. And another example like what 1 by 3. 1 by 3. 1 when we divide with 3, 0.0, 3 3s are 9, again the remainder is 1, again 0, 3 3s are 9, and the remainder is 1. That means what 1 by 3 equal to 0.3 bar. That means the decimal expansion, recurring or non-recurring, 3 is repeated, 3 is repeating decimal. That means we say it is a what when remainder is not equal to 0, we say non-terminating. And the decimal expansion, repeating or not repeating? Repeating. Therefore we say what recurring. Remainder is not equal to 0, we say non-terminating, and the decimal expansion is what repeated with 3. Therefore this 1 by 3 has non-terminating recurring decimal expansion. And we can check the given rational number. The given rational number has a terminating decimal expansion or non-terminating recurring decimal expansion without actual division. So far we have discussed the 2 examples in regular division, but we can check the rational number has a terminating or non-terminating recurring decimal expansion without actual division. Now let us have a few examples here. Suppose I'll take one example like what 7 by 8. 7 by 8. Now without performing a division, you can check it has whether it has a terminating or non-terminating recurring decimal expansion. So that you have to remember the 2 conditions. If p by q is a rational number and the prime factorization of the denominator q should be in the form of 2 power n or 5 power m or 2 power n into 5 power m, then this p by q has terminating decimal expansion. Then p by q has a terminating decimal expansion. This is the condition to check the rational number as a terminating or non-terminating without actual division. The condition is that the q means what here? Denominator of a rational number must be in the form of 2 power n or 5 power m or 2 power n into 5 power m. If it is not in the form of, if the prime factorization of q is not in the form of 2 power n, not in the form of 5 power m, or not in the form of 2 power n into 5 power m, then p by q has non-terminating and non-recurring decimal expansion. Non-terminating and non-recurring decimal expansion. Let us have 2 examples here. Now 7 by 8, the denominator. Now 2 4s are 2 2s are, and 8 can be written as 2 cube, which is equal to 7 by 2 cube. Now the denominator is in the form of what? 2 power n. The denominator is in the form of what? 2 power n. Therefore we say 7 by 8 has terminating decimal expansion. Terminating decimal expansion. Now let us take one more example. Suppose 11 by 12, 11 by 12, and 12, the prime factorization of 12, 2 6 are, again 2 3s are. This can be written as what? 12 can be written as 2 into 2, 2 square into 3. Now 11 by, this 12 can be written as 2 square into 3. Now look at this denominator, 2 square into 3. According to the condition, it should be in the form of 2 power n or 5 power m or 2 power n into 5 power m. But look here, we have got other than 2 and 5. What is the number? What is the prime factor we got here? 3. First, we have to check whether this 3 is able to cancel with the numerator or not. Now, can you cancel this 11 with the 3? It is not possible. Why? Because both are what? Prime numbers. Prime number do not have a common prime factor. Therefore, 3 cannot be cancelled. Therefore, finally we say the denominator is not in the form of, is not in the form of 2 power n into 5 power m. Therefore, 11 by 12, this rational number has non-terminating and non-recurring decimal expansion. Okay. Next one, non-terminating and non-recurring decimal expansion. Non-terminating and non-recurring decimal expansion means, look at this example, 1.23322 and 2223333 and so on. This type of decimal expansions are always irrational numbers, or else the value of a root 2, the value of a root 3, the value of a root 5, the value of a root 6, the value of a root 7, which we have learned in 9th class. They are always what non-terminating and non-recurring decimal expansions. Next, class of exponents. Already which were learned in 8th class. A to the power of m whole to the power of n is equals to a to the power of m into n. A to the power of m by a to the power of n is equals to a to the power of m minus n when m is greater than n. A to the power of m by a to the power of n is equals to 1 by a to the power of n minus m when m is less than n. And a to the power of m by a to the power of n is equals to 1 if m is equals to n, and a by b whole to the power of m can be written as a to the power of m by b to the power of m, and a to the power of 0 equal to 1, a to the power of minus 1 equal to 1 by a, and a to the power of minus n can be written as 1 by a to the power of n. All these are the laws of exponents which you have learned in 8th class, but these laws of exponents are applied in coming topic in the logarithms. You have to remember them carefully. Next, proof of irrational numbers. Okay, this proof of irrational number can be proved. The given irrational number can be proved by using a concatenation method. That means the given rational number in this method, we assume that it is a rational number. So that if it is a rational number, then there exist two integers, that is r and s. That means what given rational number must be equal to r and s. Okay, this topic will be explained with an example in the next video with an example question. But it is a very important for what? 4 marks question. Okay. Next, exponential form into logarithmic form. Suppose exponential 3 to the power of 4 is equal to how much here? 81. And 2 to the power of 5 equal to 32. Now that means what? 3 to the power of 4 is the exponential form of 81 and 2 to the power of 5 is the exponential form of 32. This exponential form can be converted into what is a logarithmic form. Log of this one can be converted into 81 to the base 3 equal to 4. Log of 81 to the base 3 equal to 4, and this also can be converted into logarithmic form. This can be written as log of 32 to the base 2 equal to 5. That means conversion of these are in an exponential form converted into what is a logarithmic form. And simple you can say a logarithm you can convert into what is a logarithmic form to what is an exponential form also. Log of x to the base a equal to n, then x equal to a to the power of n. This is a logarithmic form is converted into what is a exponential form. This is the logarithmic form converted into exponential form. This is the very important converting a logarithmic form into what is an exponential form in finding the values of a given logarithms. Next one, lots of logarithms. Log of xy to the base a equal to log of x to the base a plus log of y to the base a. Log of x by y to the base a equal to log of x to the base a minus log of y to the base a. Log of x, y, z to the base a can also be written as log of x to the base a plus log of y to the base a plus log of z to the base a. Log of x to the power of m to the base a equal to m into log of x to the base a, and log of a to the base a equal to 1. And next one, a to the power of log of n to the base a equal to n. These are the important laws of logarithms. And here if you see the left hand side in the first two logarithms, these are first three logarithms, xy means what here? X into y. This product rule is converted into sum rule, and x by y quotient rule is converted into difference rule. That means these laws are applied. See, if you see the left hand side and right hand side, this single logarithm is converted into more than one logarithm. Here single logarithm is converted into more than one logarithm. Here x into y into z, single logarithm is converted into 3 logarithms. Okay. Okay, these are the very important concepts in the real numbers. So that you take a paper and put all the concepts on the paper and you practice with your own examples. I hope so that you have understood these real numbers very well, and keep on practicing the concepts repeatedly, get thoroughly prepared for your examination. All the best.